You need to grow up out there. You also are very ungrateful, some of you, and you complain so much, and you are a nuisance. You are an absolute nuisance and a child as well. And you need to be told that. The American economy is going to completely crash. Europe, why did you tie yourself to America? Europe, you're going to suffer the same fate as America. And God says this will teach you to hitch your wagon to people who can't balance their books. America's books are cooked. America lies so much that the liars can't even keep track of the amount of lies that they have lied in the time period during which they have lied the lies that they lie. They don't know what is left, what is right. God says that they have been so creative with the numbers in this country, but whether it is the Fed, whether it is the whatever it is, the Reserve Bank, whatever it is, American economy is going to crash flat out. The prophecy to hear about how every single bank in America is going to crash out, flame out, and wink out of existence. Banking as we know it will wink out of existence. And when we wink again, we will be seeing beast credits, money in the cloud. That's the nascent rise of coin. The prophecy to hear about how all banks, I'm talking about the top bank that you are with, that you are always told through Bloomberg and everything else that there is 0% chance of that bank crashing. I'm talking about the bank that buys out other banks when they crash. The prophecy is called systemic risk. They're all going to crash. God says not a single bank is going to survive the economic downturn that is going to come to the United States. It's systemic risk. It's nascent rise of coin. It's money down the drain. The U.S. economy is going to lose 60% of the value on the books. The U.S. dollar is going to be devalued by 60%. And in that prophecy from 2018, money down the drain, I saw that people hated America so much. I saw that people hated this country to the point that they were attacking embassies. Anywhere that they saw the U.S. flag flying in foreign countries became a subject of attack. They were taking the flag, they were burning it, and they would spit. Anytime an American would walk by, they could discern that you're American, they would spit on the ground as you walked by. That's how much people hated this country, because this country caused mass devastation and instant overnight poverty. I saw that nations in South America were very heavily affected because of what America had done to cause a global world crash of currency. Okay, basically a wipeout of the global economy. It was caused by the United States, and people hated America so much. And there was revolutionary fever in the air against her. And that was the dream from 2018. Let me go back from the top. God is saying that all the judgments that are going to come to America are going to come to a convergent point. So convergent point, all you have to think of is a very sharpened pencil. Don't even think of a pen. Think of a good quality Staedtler German pencil, red and white, classic, sharpened to a point. That is the point at which all of the painful things that have been discussed here on the Master's Voice Prophecy blog are going to peak at what God is calling a single moment of time, 1 hour. So whether it's economic crash, whether it's anti-government sentiment in the country that leads to separating along areas of ideology, areas of sociology, areas of race theory, areas of whatever you want to call it, the nation separating itself, areas of gender wars. It's all going to culminate the rise of the reprobates, coming down of the aliens, takeover of the Nephilim, Russia attacking Chinese bombs, floating into the country, coming up from the scuba diving submarines and flooding the mainland, coming into the suburbs, rounding people up, bringing us out in the cold, as I saw. All of it, everything, the captivity, all of it, God says, in a moment of time. In a moment of time. I'm not going to venture, is it one actual day? Or is it like a time period where they say in that day? And then it's basically talking of a time period of just calamity and woes. All I know is that, not to mention the natural disasters, America will not get any rest. It will be the fulfillment of what God said to Jeremiah. Said, Jeremiah, if you cannot even run with the footmen and they made you tired, if you were running with the footmen, if you were handling prophetic breakouts against Texas and flooding in Texas and flooding in Florida and this happening in California, starting to almost have a tremor every day, a tremor or 5 every day, and earthquakes here and bad weather here and all this and the economy and the political shakings. If you can't handle all that stuff when it's only a little bit, how will you run with horses if you can't run with the men? Basically, God is asking what I always ask here. You come and you are so livid at hearing prophecy. I will post my own video that someone has made for me as a courtesy, and then 90,000 people are complaining I could do without the sound effects. You better get used to the sound of bombs. If it's the sound of bombs that are triggering your anxiety, my advice to you is to work on that anxiety. Because this is not a group project. This is not a team A. If you want to get your own A, you have to find your own thing that you will do to serve God. This is not a group project. I'm not running surveys. I'm not taking audience participation papers to ask you, what were your thoughts on the last video? Can I just get an anonymous feedback? There's nothing like that going on. So if the mere sound of someone else serving God and making a video, and I'm so busy that I barely have time to cut my own videos, if not for these helpful people on TikTok who cut the videos, animate it, however, and when I see it, my soul is moved and I think this is a good one and I put it up, and then you want to come as Elton John to critique it for what reason? For why? For what cause? Because your nerves are shaky. Work on your nerves. If you don't like the sound of bombs, get used to the sound of bombs, because the sound of bombs are going to be all over the American continent one day. And if you are still alive, you're going to hear them. And guess what? There will be nowhere else to drop your notes, fill in your little piece of paper and mail it in and say, Jesus, I don't like the sound of bombs, because now it's also followed by the sound of screaming and blood, which I also don't like.